What's up, guys? This is Kephas.
If there's one thing I get asked about in almost every single one of my videos, it's something to do with my UI. And I'll be honest, I'm flattered that so many people have taken interest in my setup. Now, I've made several videos in the past going over some of the add-ons that I use, how I play WoW with the controller, how I design the game to assist me with my visual impairment, and I've even shared some profiles. Yep, it's been a journey for sure. A journey that will likely never end because honestly, my UI is always changing. So what I'm going to do in this video is walk through every single add-on that I use and how I use it. I'll try to be as concise as possible, though it's not my strength, so there will be timestamps so that you can get to the sections that interest you the most. So we'll start things off with the big add-ons that shape the look and feel of everything, and then we'll get into the support stuff. Finally, the little niche add-ons that just make the game nicer to play. So let's dive in. ElvUI is the backbone of my entire setup. It's the add-on that basically replaces Blizzard's whole layout. Unit frames, nameplates, chat window, you name it. ElvUI allows me to toggle my chat window with a hotkey in the same way the game allows me to toggle my minimap. That's why I keep both of them in the center of my screen. With my visual impairment, that makes them easy to see. I'm able to toggle them on when I need to look at them, and otherwise I keep them hidden. Using an ElvUI plugin called Media Tag and Tools, I'm able to transform my unit frames into these portraits. Kind of inspired from games like Baldur's Gate 3. I just thought they looked cool. I use a second plugin called Location Plus for this nifty little bar up here. Now, if you'd like to use my profile, I'll have a link to it in the description. Once you have it imported, it should mostly look like mine. You'll be able to make adjustments as you see fit. Now, arguably the most important add-on in my list is ConsolePort, because this one makes playing WoW with the controller actually functional. The mod author of this add-on is a genius because they've actually managed to make playing WoW with the controller feel natural. It lets you bind everything to your controller that you could keybind with your keyboard and mouse. With modifiers, I've got it set up so that I can hit like 30 action buttons, and I could go for more if I wanted to. You can even create radial menus to group abilities together. My setup is a lot like Final Fantasy XIV's, a similar MMO that was designed for controller support. ConsolePort also allows you to customize your action bars, and there are a lot of options. I use ConsolePort's action bars over ElvUI's. It also replaces the XP bar. If you'd like to check out my profile, there will be a link to it in the description. I use an 8BitDo Ultimate 2 controller, which basically functions like an Xbox controller in WoW, but you should be able to use any controller you want. Though you may have to make some adjustments if you're not using an Xbox controller. The next piece of my layout is Weakauras, where I've created a couple of custom packs. The first is my custom personal resource bar, which includes my cast bar and my pet's health. The bars are also color coordinated to my class. My second custom pack is what I call my ultimate cooldown tracker, which sits in the middle of my left and right action bars. The purpose of this is to easily track my class's offensive cooldown, the buttons that the single button assistant doesn't use. And again, I'll have profiles to these if you'd like to check them out. For my quest tracker, I use Kaliel's tracker. I love the functionality of this add-on. It gives me a compact, scrollable list that I can toggle on and off, and it even throws most quest items on the extra action button for ease of use, which is especially handy when you're playing with a controller. Sitting under that is Details Damage Meter to track my DPS. For the look, I use a plugin called Details Skin The War Within. It creates a preset that makes details match the quest tracker. For bags, I use Baginator over ElvUI's bag frame. It's just so clean and controller friendly. Everything can be organized and stacked into groups, and I can actually find stuff without digging. For skywriting, I use an add-on called Glider, which takes the giant vigor bar and shrinks it into a compact pie chart. For me, I use it kind of like Breath of the Wild's stamina wheel. Much easier to see and it doesn't hog space. Now, for managing my mounts, I use LiteMount. This is a very smart add-on that allows you to assign rules to tell it what mounts to use in all kinds of situations. You can assign mounts to different races, classes, and it can even use a different mount based on what zone you're in, all with the press of one button, which I'm able to hotkey with ConsolePort. For combat assistance, I use DBM, and I think pretty much everybody knows what DBM does, and I also use GTFO, which will play a sound whenever I'm standing in stuff I shouldn't. Fun fact, both of these add-ons are able to vibrate your controller to relay information. I also use a number of fun add-ons to make the game feel more immersive. For talking to NPCs, I've got Dialogue UI. It replaces the old dialogue box with something controller friendly so I can scroll through choices with the D-pad instead of reaching for a mouse. It'll also offset the camera and it just looks really nice. Speaking of offsetting the camera, I also use Dynamic Cam, which gives me a more off-shoulder cinematic camera. It makes combat feel a little bit more action-y and it's great for screenshots. And speaking of screenshots, Narcissus is my alternate character panel and photo mode. This is how I take most of my thumbnails. It lets me pose my characters, swap gear, and get nice clean shots right in game. And the character panel side of this add-on also has controller support. And for fun, I always like to mention Soundtrack. It lets you replace WoW's music with your own playlist, zone by zone, boss by boss. It's not essential, but it's one of those add-ons that makes the game feel more like my world. Waypoint UI is my newest add-on, and it basically gives your waypoints a nice glow up. Waypoints are transformed into clean gliding beams and will actually switch to tracking info when you're close enough. Now, for quality of life stuff, I use both Leatrix Plus and Plumber. Each of these has really cool features that I like. I won't list everything that these add-ons do, but I'll just say what my favorite things are. For Leatrix Plus, I like that I can stop my character from spamming, "I can't use that here," stuff like that. And with Plumber, I love the loot window that shows everything you just picked up. But they're both packed with so many more awesome features that add polish in different ways. I also like to use Pawn to let me know whenever I have a gear upgrade. And of course, WoW Instant Messenger, which puts my whispers into little chat windows. That way I rarely miss anything. And last up, I should absolutely mention SharedMedia. This one allows me to add custom media across all of my add-ons. For me in particular, I use it to add fonts. Most of my add-ons use Roboto Black as the default font. In ElvUI, I'm also able to change my combat font. The three fonts that I most often use are Ethnocentric, Lemon Milk, and, well, the Pepsi font. These can all be found for free online and can be imported through SharedMedia. And that is the full list of add-ons that I actually use right now. And if you're wondering, I use all the same add-ons across all versions of the game. That way everything feels and plays the same way with minor tweaks here and there. I hope this video was helpful, and I'm more than happy to dive deeper into any specific add-on if there's enough interest. By all means, let me know in the comments. But please keep in mind that I'm not a mod author, so coming to me for tech support might not be the best idea. If something's not working, try checking the add-on page, or contacting the mod author. At the very least, I hope I've provided some inspiration that'll allow you to create a UI that works best for you. But with all that being said, I'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by clicking that like button. And feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. And if you'd like to see more videos, you can subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. You can also follow me on Facebook, and if you'd like, you can support my work on Patreon. Links to all that stuff can be found in the description below. This is Kephas. Until next time.